In the last video, I talked about how challenging it is to get out of this lovely zone of ideas and creativity and brilliant plans for your business and actually opening the doors for business. And this is the perfect day for me to record this video because less than an hour before recording this, I just shipped a product. Now, when you say shipped, I'm not like a software developer shipping some software, an e-commerce person mailing some stuff out through the couriers. This was an online course and I just opened the doors. And so I want to share with you how simple it was. So I could have done a very complicated offer. So in the past, I've had 10K, 14K mastermind programs that had live coaching teams. We even had trips to India, for goodness sake. We've had some really big programs and big offers with thousands of people come through them. Tens of thousands of people come through a $2,000 program. I've had a couple of $2,000 programs that have been very successful, like 8-figure businesses. And here I am now trying to simplify life, working in the spare bedroom in the middle of winter in New Zealand, thinking, all right, it's time to dig in and get some stuff live and get going. So I've been sitting with this great big sheet on a piece of, it's actually an A3 piece of paper. So I wrote this morning. You won't need to read all the words, but I sent this offer out to my list about an hour ago. And all I did was write one email. And I went into Kajabi and created one product. I haven't got even a logo on the product in Kajabi, which is the platform I host courses and coaching on. I haven't got a single automation behind that. All I've done is sent an email saying, this is opening and it starts 2 weeks tomorrow, 2 weeks and 2 days, so 16 days away. This is starting in 2 weeks. This is what it costs. I even put the payment link in. I wrote literally 4 sentences about what we'll be doing. And I've said the normal price when it goes properly live is $2,000, but I'm doing a starting founders member special for $600. If you want to join, here's the link. And I gave them an option of paying in full. And I also did an option of 2 installments of $300. But I did say you can pay all in full because today is the last day of the tax year in Australia, which I happen to know. So some people might be quite keen to bang all their expenses through on that lucky last day. So it was a very short email. I didn't use Claude at all. I didn't use any tools. I just wrote it to all my existing customers from another business and said, this is a thing that you might like to do. And I literally wrote 3 or 4 sentences about how the thing could help them. I said more details to come tomorrow. So now, because this is a trick I play on myself, I've promised something tomorrow, which means I now have to do it. So I could either record a short webinar about it, but I feel like that's a bit overblown and that would take an hour to prep the slides and 40 minutes to record. So I've decided what I'll do is a video sales letter, pretty similar to this format. I'll just do a talking head to camera. I'll have a bullet pointed thing on a piece of paper like this about, what I'll be doing, who it's for, what they can expect, try and guess some Q&A stuff, what their endpoint will be, what that return on investment should look like for them or could look like for them, where it'll take them on their journey, how much help from me, what if they can't make it live, is there another payment plan? I'll just try and think of the usual things that they're looking for, the usual questions, and cover some objections. And I'll put together maybe 20 minutes, little walkthrough of what it's all about, the name of it, when it starts, who it's for, how it helps them, what I'll be doing, are you in? Also, a little bit of scarcity because when it does go fully live, it really will be $2,000. And then there'll be a sort of a done for you higher tier above that as well. But it's just live. And I'm hopefully, maybe, who knows, whilst I've been recording this, maybe I've had some sales. But the nice thing is it's live. The back end of Kajabi looks a bit rough, but I can easily manually email the first few people that sign up and say, here's the Zoom invitation for the first call. And then I create the Zoom invitation and then load that into Kajabi. So I don't need to have everything set up. I don't need to research which is the best time of day and which time zone to do it. I've just picked a time and date and done it recurring every week. I've got a name. I've got the domain name. You'll be relieved to hear amongst many. So I've got an email that goes with that domain name. And I've really just got 2 business units at the moment, 2 business units, 1 company, 2 business offers. There's a sort of an entry level and a higher tier to each. And that's it. And it's just me. I'm doing all the teaching, no expenses. I'm really trying to keep it lean and I'm trying to keep everything on a small number of platforms. So some YouTube content fairly frequently, the course hosted on Kajabi, And then if I didn't have an existing audience, I would probably run the calls on Kajabi as well, but instead I'll do those on Zoom just because I've got Zoom for bigger groups for other stuff and I'm kind of used to it. So that's how I actually opened for business just before recording this video for you now. So I've had a big long to-do list. There's a million things I should be doing. I maybe should have recorded 6 modules before I opened the doors to the coaching part of that offer, but I haven't. Maybe the first 6 weeks are how I'll record the first 6 modules. So at some stage, it's just harder to keep writing that you started. So that's the moment things change, where you just decide, right, hard deadline, an hour from now, I'm sending an email and we're starting, and, you know, make it easy and enticing for your first customers to sign up. Then you get a bit of income, make it a beta test, a founding member special, a existing customers discount, a scholarship. There's lots of nice ways to word it, which means a lower price for an early version of the offer is good for you, gets you some traction. It's good for them, special price. They get to shape the product. You don't have the pressure to have it perfectly polished. You know, you can have some Q&A at the end of each module, and then that informs your recording of that module to be better, rather than trying to guess what's perfect and what they need. So beta launch lowers the stakes. You're not claiming to be finished, so there's less to be judged against. Foundational pricing removes the is this worth full price question. You know, it gets you some cash flow, and it gets you paying clients, which are always better than free clients. They always take it more seriously and you get more engagement and better feedback. And it gets you out of the lapse of research. So I've had so many things I've been wanting to look into, and other books I wanted to read first, and things I thought I should do before I went live, but I've just decided it's done. So that was it. So if you want some help from me going live, I do run a program that teaches people how to start online businesses. You can find more about that in my bio, but I do have a lot of clients, thousands and thousands of aspiring entrepreneurs who struggle with this getting into the, you know, shift from idea to opening for business. And so that's where I really want to be able to help you. So for this one, I just launched today, and I have to say I have launched a lot of businesses now, so I know roughly what the steps should be, but I break my own rules all the time, and I hadn't done most of the steps when I launched this one. So the shift isn't working harder or getting more organized or creating more assets or polishing up the marketing more. It was making the bet small enough that you could actually place the bet. And if you're stuck in a loop now, the way out isn't one more course, it's one little test. You know, send an email with a $7 digital download, even if you email it out manually. So in the next video, I'm going to share with you how to think about that first small test, things like a little digital download or book a sales call, like a discovery type call. And that way, even if you're doing it really manually, really low budget, really simple, really low stress, you cap it at 5 people, you still need to make some decisions about, you know, which platform are you going to go out on to market on, and then which platform will you deliver the products on. So there's a few things to figure out. But none of it's too hard because there's only so many platforms and so many formats that you deliver your product or service. So all of that bit's pretty easy. We just need to really shift the behavior into action mode. So the next video in this series isn't about needing to be ready, but you actually just need the market to answer your questions. And the only way you can do that is to go live. So we're going to look in the next how to use those early customers to get confident about scaling up and doing the full proper launch. So that'll be coming soon, but enjoy that feeling of feeling like the finish line's in sight. You now know you're going to pivot from how you work, from not from doing more from where you are, but looking to where you want to be and going a step before that, little tiny steps backwards to where you are now and just getting it done. So I'm here to help you and want to give you that feeling of that huge dopamine hit of something going live. And you obviously don't need 100 domains or another course to do that. You just need to go live with one offer, with one idea to one potential customer, and then you're in business. So we'll see you in the next video.